After an accident, everyone begins asking questions about what happened. The government safety officer and police request to speak to the supervisor as they need to piece together information about the accident. Accidents don't only affect other workers, but they affect all those in the organization as well as friends and family. The loss of a loved one can have devastating effects that can be avoided if proper steps are taken to ensure health and safety in the workplace. All serious accidents are investigated. Some investigations that are conducted by health and safety officers can lead to prosecutions. It can be a difficult time for all those involved, and especially difficult for those who are unaware of their legal responsibilities and obligations. In our example, a supervisor permitted a worker to operate a piece of equipment without first inspecting it. The push to get work done pressured the supervisor to speed up the process. Many of the pre-inspection processes were increasingly ignored. The employer assumed that the supervisor was enforcing the safety procedures. As it turns out, it was discovered that under the law, everyone has some responsibility for safety. Workers are responsible for their safety and the safety of their co-workers. Supervisors and employers are responsible for the safety of their workers. All can be prosecuted and fined in the event of an accident. Regrettably, some employers, supervisors, and workers don't understand their specific legal responsibilities. Individuals and organizations can be penalized for serious or repeated violations of health and safety regulations. Situations that may pose an imminent danger to workers can lead to stop work orders. Yet, it's widely understood that all health and safety regulations only establish the minimum standards. Compliance with regulations is a good goal, but it should never be considered the final destination. An organization with a good safety system will continue to evolve its program to better manage the ever-changing work environment. Each person in an organization plays a critical role in safety, and there may be no greater role than that played by the supervisor. There are no excuses. You can say the supervisor didn't do their job. You can say the employee was careless. But in the end, the employer is directly or indirectly responsible for worker safety. In 2010, Sault Ste. Marie Police charged the owner of Millennium Crane Rentals and the crane operator with criminal negligence causing death after a municipal worker was killed while working in an excavation hole. The accident occurred on an excavation site where sewage work was being performed. The crane toppled and fell into the hole, killing the worker. In Alberta, a worker was removing ice from a conveyor and was seriously injured when his hand was caught between the running conveyor belt and a scraper. The company eventually pleaded guilty and was fined $90,000. The supervisor was also fined. These examples stress the need for both supervisors and employers to be aware of their responsibilities. A good health and safety program starts with upper management's commitment and understanding of health and safety systems. The most successful companies in the world understand the need to prevent accidents and incidents and to implement systems that ensure the work is done right the first time. As an employer, you have tremendous responsibilities. You are expected to provide a safe workplace, report serious accidents, and ensure your people receive proper training. You must establish and enforce health and safety policies and programs. You must also act quickly to correct unsafe conditions, and first aid services must be available at all times. You are expected to support the activities of health and safety committees and to evaluate them periodically. And finally, the most important requirement of them all, you are expected to set a good example for your employees. Supervisors ensure the work standards that have been established are followed. They're often responsible for the orientation and training of new workers, and they have to ensure safe work procedures are followed. Most supervisors are required to report accidents and incidents, and they often participate in investigations. They ensure proper protective equipment is worn and regular maintenance is conducted on machines. They look for and correct unsafe working practices or conditions. A good supervisor must look for hazards, deal with concerned employees, update safety rules, ensure compliance with the regulations, ask for suggestions, and, above all, set a good example. Everyone's actions on the job will have an impact on how the job is done and how it is completed. Some say that safe work procedures are often written in blood. That is, someone somewhere was killed or seriously injured, and the lessons of that accident lead to new procedures or new regulations. It's difficult, if not impossible, to reduce all risks on all jobs to zero, but we can certainly control those risks. If any condition is unsafe, you have a responsibility to report the problem so they can be corrected. Workers should be encouraged to make suggestions on how to improve the safety of the workplace and to ensure their fellow workers are acting and working safely. It's the job of the supervisor to ensure workers are instructed, trained, and qualified to work safely and actually do work safely. Safety committees provide an opportunity for workers to be directly involved in the workplace's health and safety. It can foster a real ownership of the program and improve the effectiveness of the systems in place.